Okay, our frequently asked questions have really come a long way, but the styling's really been effective to group together our questions and our answers. Let's preview this real quick in a browser. Here we go. And everything's working like it should. It's really easy to see where the questions and the answers are. Where does HB on a pencil stand for? Click on that, takes us right down. Back to the top, takes us to the top. One thing that I think that could make this just a little bit better is if we were able to distinguish the question from the answer. If there's some way to target this and make this stand out a little bit more, and there is. So I'm going to go back to Dreamweaver, and we're going to create a new selector. And so we're working with our styles with global, and this is what our selector is going to be. We're going to add a selector, and I'm going to click with my, put my cursor here, kind of generally where I want it to be, which is in this first paragraph tag that's inside of an answer. So I'm going to click to add a selector. Now this is the selector that we want to add in. What Dreamweaver is suggesting is not quite what we're looking for. It's going to be .FAQ answer. Okay, I want to use that much. So we're targeting things that are inside of the FAQ answer class. Now we're going to type in our paragraph. We want to target our paragraphs. Now this is where it gets to be a little advanced. I'm going to type colon, and we're going to target what's called a pseudo element or a pseudo selector. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to target the first child. Now what this rule says is that we're going to target paragraphs that are inside of anything that's a member of the FAQ answer class. We've got 3 divs. All these divs are members of the FAQ answer class. We use the FAQ answer class to do all this styling to make the text white and the background red and make that border. But when we say paragraph colon first child, that says I only want to target the first paragraph. It's very cool. We can target the first child. We could target the last element. When we created our table, you know how every other row in our table looks different? We used these same rules, these advanced CSS selectors, and in that case we used an odd and an even rule. We said make every odd rule, the first, third, fifth, look one way, and make every even rule look another way. So there's a lot that you can do with CSS to really dial in your styling properties. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to use this selector, and the selector says the first paragraph in our div that's a member of the FAQ answer class. So I'm going to hit enter, and I'm going to go to my text properties, and let's make it bold. So under font weight we'll choose bold. And when we did that, you can see that all of our text now became bold. Okay, so I'm going to hit save all. So this is the essential styling that we need to do with Dreamweaver. We could take this to the next level because there are some really interesting resources available online to help us do some styling that's a little bit outside of what's already built into Dreamweaver. And this is absolutely one of my most favorite websites when it's appropriate. I am going to take us to transparent textures, but before we get there, I want to find out what is the color code for my background color for my FAQ answer. So I'm going to go to Styles, Global, and I'm going to look for FAQ answer, right? Just the standard FAQ answer. Let's go look at our background properties, and this is our background color that we selected. Yep, so I'm going to click on that. And I want to select the hex color. And I'm going to highlight this, and I'm going to right click and choose copy. I just want to copy what this hex color is because we're going to need it for future reference, okay? So let's go preview in Chrome. It just takes us out to save these changes. It's just a fast way to get us to a web browser. Okay, and this is the web address that we're going to go to. We're going to go to www. We could also do a search for this. transparent, transparent, textures, transparent textures. If you don't want to try and type in the exact web address, and this is the web address I was going to give you, transparent textures. So this is what's cool is you can put in a color that you like and then come up with a texture to go with it. So the first step it says is choose a color. Well, I'm going to paste in that color from our site, right? I just copied that color, so let's paste in that color. And I'm going to hit enter. So now this whole page is styled with that same color that I'm already using on the site. So let's scroll down. And what's nice is these are transparent textures. And we can add any of these. Like if you had maybe something kind of scientific or whatever looking for, you could add any of these to your site. Now I thought I'd found something once on asphalt. Here we go. Asphalt light. This is the one that I liked. So if I click on asphalt light, it shows me, once you select something, what would a page look like if we use that for a background texture. If we clicked here on Argyle, that's what it would look like. There's asphalt dark, but asphalt light, that's the one that I like right there. Now if we want our color to be a little less saturated, we can change the saturation by moving this up and down. If we want something a little bit lighter, a little bit darker, and it's actually changing our color code right there. But I think that looks pretty good. Okay, let me go back to where we started because I think I like that best of all. Okay, yeah, so we're going to use this. So now how do we get this code from this page into our website? Well, if you notice down here, we're following the steps. We chose a color, we chose a pattern. That was the one that I liked. Then it says grab the CSS. It says copy to clipboard. So I'm going to click on that, and it has copied that code to our computer's clipboard. So let's go back to Dreamweaver. Now in Dreamweaver, we have this rule that says this is the color styling for our FAQ answer. And while we could work out a way to take the information that we copied from that web page and plug into various properties over here, there's a slightly faster way to do it, and that is to go directly to the code. We've never directly edited any of our CSS code in this class, and I'm only including this because this is our extra credit section, right? It's time for us to try and do some adventuresome stuff. So I'm going to right click, and when I right click we get this box that says go to code. Let me give myself a little bit more room here. So this is the actual code. This is the look behind the curtain of what makes our FAQ answer look like it does. This is where we put in the padding, the border, the radius, the background color. So this is actually what we want to change, right? We want to change our background color. So I'm going to highlight this text that says background color, and I'm going to delete it, and then I'm going to right click and choose paste. And now it pastes in that code that we copied from that other website. Let's go to live view, and now we can see we've got that nice interesting textured pattern. Let's hit F12 to preview in our browser, preview it in Chrome. We get that question, do you want to save these changes? And of course they're referring to our CSS file, styles.css, because it has an asterisk next to it, and we know whenever we see an asterisk next to a file name in Dreamweaver, that means it has unsaved changes. So let's save these changes for sure. Here we go. Looks kind of sharp, right? Now we actually have an interesting textured background rather than just a solid color. And we've managed to key in some of the other colors that were related to those images because we used Adobe Color CC to help us with these color selections. It's not like we're pulling these colors out of nowhere. In fact, this sort of burnt orange color, right? It's the same color that we're using on our home page as well. The site has come a long way. Let's remember there's one last thing that we need to do. We don't actually have a link to this page yet, right? So let's come back and we'll do the last thing we need to do, which is actually create a link to our frequently asked questions page.